In 1974, Wolverine would make his first full appearance in the Incredible Hulk issue 181. His popularity would grow exponentially with the relaunch of a brand new team of X-Men that debuted in 1975. Wolverine was given the full name of James Howlett in the 2001 Origin miniseries. Until that point, he was known as Logan. Fandom and Marvel themselves acknowledge the name, but he is almost never called James. His mutant powers consist of superhuman strength, speed, durability, reflexes, and heightened senses. He also has a rapid healing factor and his iconic retractable claws. Wolverine is one of the greatest hand-to-hand fighters in Marvel Comics. His ability to push through pain is unmatched, and when he goes into a berserker rage, well, you better not be in his way. Logan was an unwilling participant of the Weapon X project, a clandestine government operation to genetically enhance individuals into living weapons. His skeleton and claws were coated with a near unbreakable metal called adamantium. False memories were implanted to aid his handlers in controlling their new killing machine, which didn't work out so well. Wolverine has been a playable character in over 50 video games. In celebration of the golden anniversary of my favorite superhero, we'll be looking at his 5 video game releases. Hitting store shelves in 1991 for the Nintendo Entertainment System, Wolverine was developed as an action platformer by Software Creations. You navigate Logan through 6 different trials, each its own level, before entering a fortress and confronting Magneto and Sabertooth. Anytime you touch an enemy person or trap, Logan rapidly loses health. You wait for that healing factor to kick in, but it doesn't. You have to unlock that ability by acquiring a radio to call Havoc, so he can unleash his newly discovered mutant power of scrubbing bubbles. Pressing the select button extends or retracts Logan's claws, and every time you attack with them, you lose health. His fearsome berserker rage will automatically extend those claws and make him invincible for a short period of time. This is activated by filling up the berserk meter, which I actually never managed to do. This game is an absolute dumpster fire of awfulness. It is frustratingly difficult to play until you start memorizing the questionable enemy placement. Instead of wanting to engage enemies, you'll be focused on not touching them or outright avoiding them. Crawling along the ground is a legit strategy for survival at times. Wolverine Adamantium Rage is an action platformer that was released in 1994 for the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. We'll be looking at the Super NES version that was developed by Bits Studios. After receiving a message regarding information about his past, Logan leaves Xavier's mansion to discover the identity of the sender. Wolverine will encounter a good portion of his rogues gallery and even visit the Weapon X facility. This alone makes Adamantium Rage feel more like a Wolverine game when compared to his first outing. Because of this, bosses that were created for the title do feel out of place, like Trifusion. Unfortunately, the gameplay doesn't translate into you feeling like you are Wolverine. Your healing factor is present, but works so slowly that invincibility and health pickups are available throughout the game. Your moveset is quite robust, but controlling Logan is disappointing due to floaty jump mechanics, poor hit detection, and the jarring screen motion when you change direction. You have multiple claw attacks and for some reason a basic punch and kick attack. All moves appear to deal the same amount of damage, which is not enough. Basic enemies have so much health that tedium sets in when trying to kill them. Your jumping attacks are so clumsy that an uppercut attack is your best bet unless the enemy is out of range. This game also features obtuse puzzles that need to be solved to progress through a level, like destroying this unassuming computer to deactivate these lasers, or clawing at this section of destructible floor that isn't distinguishable from the rest. The most obtuse puzzle that made me decide I had enough of this game was using this attack, which isn't listed in the instruction manual, with this exposed electrical current to defeat Lady Deathstrike. Her attack pattern appears to be completely random, so you just wait around until she gets close and hope you reacted quick enough to score a hit. Wolverine Adamantium Rage is a perfect example of why the phrase gameplay over graphics exists. I was excited to play this game after reading the instruction manual and seeing the visuals, but it ends up being another letdown. Thankfully, that is not the case for our next game. X-Men Wolverine's Rage was developed by Digital Eclipse and released in 2001 for the Game Boy Color. Lady Deathstrike has acquired schematics for a weapon that will melt the adamantium from Logan's skeleton. Along with Cyber and Sabertooth, we are getting the best of Logan's rogues gallery with none of the filler like Adamantium Rage. Being a 2D side-scroller, it does feel dated for 2001. That said, game difficulty is balanced, visuals look good, and the gameplay feels very polished. Logan's claws are in full effect, along with a wild berserker attack. His healing factor is present, and to prevent the player from abusing it, a stage timer is used. However, that timer isn't present in boss fights, so heal to your heart's content. Wolverine's Rage is an impressive game given the limited capabilities of the Game Boy Color. It's full of small touches that knowledgeable fans will appreciate, and I highly suggest you check it out. It's my second favorite game on this list. X2 Wolverine's Revenge was developed as a tie-in for the 2003 theatrical release of X2 X-Men United. However, the version of Wolverine in this game is based on the comics and voiced by Mark Hamill. Taking the form of a 3D action game on home consoles, it was released for the PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube, Game Boy Advance, and home computers. Genepool Software developed the Xbox release, and that is the version we will be looking at. The story begins in 1968, with us witnessing through flashbacks the events that led Logan to receiving his adamantium-coated skeleton. We take control of Weapon X at the moment his handlers lose control of him. Just before escaping, we learn a deadly failsafe has been implanted inside Logan, a virus called the Shiva strain. Professor X, who is voiced by Patrick Stewart, suggests Logan travel to the Weapon X facility to investigate if a cure exists. Viewed in the third person, the default camera position is behind Logan, and the player can move the camera around with the right analog stick. The camera does get finicky when the player is close to a wall, and trying to move it yourself generally makes the situation worse. Logan can punch, kick, and has a couple of basic melee combos. Extending his claws does more damage, but prevents his healing factor from working. You also have strike moves. These range from an instant kill stealth attack to combo attacks that allow you to engage multiple enemies. A rage meter fills upon hitting an enemy or being hit by them and is consumed when going feral. Logan moves faster and his attack damage increases, as does his resistance to damage. This can be activated by the player, or will automatically activate when the rage meter is maxed out, which always seems to happen when it's not really needed. With the success of Metal Gear Solid, stealth gameplay started finding its way into games outside of the stealth genre. It wasn't always implemented well, which is the case here, and unfortunately, using stealth kills is the only way to earn dog tags, which are used to unlock more powerful strike moves. Metal Gear Solid uses a radar to show the enemy's position and field of view, while Wolverine's Revenge uses Logan's heightened senses. It's a really awesome idea, but it's poorly implemented by covering the screen with a useless orange filter, activating a slow movement speed, and requiring the player to hold down the assigned button instead of it being toggled on and off. X2 Wolverine's Revenge feels clunky to play, and it doesn't have a checkpoint system. This means you'll be experiencing the worst this game has to offer over and over again when trying to complete a level. Being a hybrid of stealth and action games, it feels like Gene-Pool Software wanted the best of both worlds, but in reality accomplished neither. Our final game is another movie tie-in. Developed by Raven Software, X-Men Origins Wolverine Uncaged Edition was released for the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and PC on the same day as the movie, May 1st, 2009. This representation of Wolverine is based on Hugh Jackman and is voiced by him. Liv Schreiber and will.i.am also reprised their roles of Sabertooth and John Wraith respectively. The storyline is a mixture of the movie and an original plot created by Raven. The filmmakers took so many liberties with the source material that I personally feel the movie is absolutely horrible. Thankfully, the story elements added by Raven Software are pretty good and have us fighting the iconic mutant hunting Sentinels. If you've played God of War on the PS2, this game will feel very similar. Contextual actions are present, along with traversal puzzles. You have a light and heavy attack, along with combos and environmental kills. Experience is earned by defeating enemies and increases your level. New levels reward you with points that are used to increase your maximum amount of health and rage, or your claw and fury attack damage. Fury attacks are powerful moves that unlock at predetermined levels and consume rage, which is represented by red orbs that are dropped from enemies or broken crates or urns. Mutagens are found throughout the game and increase damage, rage, or XP earned, along with your maximum health and rage. The slots they occupy are unlocked at predetermined levels. Logan's heightened senses can be toggled on and off, and will highlight items of interest and show you which direction to proceed. His healing factor is present, and Logan will display battle damage which does heal. DNA icons increase your health, and dog tags will give you bonus experience. Like the previous title, a number of different suits are unlockable, including Logan's relatively new at the time X-Force suit, a personal favorite of mine. X-Men Origins Wolverine Uncaged Edition is my favorite game on this list. Raven nailed the brutal and violent combat that Wolverine is known for. The God of War style gameplay works great, and reaching a state of flow while taking down enemies feels amazing. You truly do feel like you are Wolverine. Wolverine ignited my interest in comic books, and I look forward to the next 50 years. Check the video description for some reading recommendations, and thank you for watching.